Hello, and welcome to CodingKoans, the show where together we'll explore the world of software, get better jobs, and change the world. My name's Carroll, I'm a software developer, and you can track the progress of the pandemic by the progress of my roots. With me today is a guest, Sarah Sunday. Sarah is an experienced software consultant with a variety of esoteric coding and website projects. Beyond that, she's a science fiction and fantasy writer, food reviewer, and antique book collector. Sarah, welcome to the show. Go ahead and share your video.
Hello.
Hey, good to see you back.
Yeah.
Hold on a
I'm
second.
back.
I need to pin your video just because I'm loving that skeleton behind you.
Yeah, he's new to the show.
Does he have a name?
You call him Bones, Mr. Skeleton,
Bones, Mr. Skeleton.
the skeleton, even though he is not the only skeleton here.
And I see that he is relaxing with a giant squid on his lap.
Octopus.
Octopus. Oh, that's correct. Sorry, I got my wrong cephalopod there.
We're actually turning into a biology show now.
It is, yeah. Were you mentioning? I remember you mentioning pre-stream that you wanted to be a biologist. Is that true?
No, I know someone who does.
Oh, you know someone who does. Okay.
Like marine biology or something.
That's cool.
All connected.
Yes, it's all a circle of life, where there are skeletons and octopi, all that have limbs of various numbers, and that's how they're related to each other.
Yeah.
Cool. So today, it's been a little while since I had you on the show, Sarah. How you been?
Good. Can't believe it's September already.
Yeah. When we were on the show last, you were talking about React or TypeScript. Any other exciting software stuff that you're noticing in the world right now?
I don't think there's like noticing anything particular. I think it's just the evolutions of the same thing. It's always the same thing being iterated upon.
Yeah. Just sort of continued to go. It does continue to go. Let's. I suppose I don't know. I don't think we have that much to discuss, do we? We can just sort of dive right in, can't we?
Yeah, we can just go straight for it.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do that. Let's just go straight for it. Let's dive right into what you've got. You got a project. You got to share your screen, right?
Yes.
Right.
Hopefully it is working okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we're working on, and last time on CodingKoans, we were working on the sexuality calculator. And
again today.
Yeah. And the sexuality calculator is something that allows for, it's there to help someone discover what terminology they should be using for themselves, right?
Yeah, just kind of see what the options are. If you're unfamiliar, there's like a lot of different sexualities, different like nuanced terms. So it's just to help kind of guide you through kind of the branching, like if you experience this, then maybe you're this, or maybe you're this as well.
Right. Now, this isn't yet styled very prettily, but it's functional, and that's and don't get me wrong, Sarah. You're not a designer though. You're a software developer, right?
Yeah, I have no claim to the title of UI designer or designer of any sort.
But still, we can get something that's functional. And you're okay. I see that you're hosting this locally, so this is just coming off of your computer. Has this been deployed anyplace?
Yes. I deployed it via S3 and CloudFront, I believe. Yeah, it's just an S3 bucket. Nothing too fancy here. I think I've added CloudFront onto it. I might need to update the README. So now you can like it's linked on the GitHub repository. You can view it live on the web.
Okay. So let's talk about the terminology there, because that might seem a little intimidating. So S3, CloudFront, are those both AWS? Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, it's on web services.
Right. Amazon Web Services. Yeah. So Amazon Web Services is frequently used as a way to deploy apps like this. There are a number of other options for people as well. But why did you choose Amazon Web Services over something else like, I don't know, Heroku or DigitalOcean or something?
In this case, I know that with S3 and CloudFront, I can host it very cheaply since I'm, maybe paying a little bit for data transfer, as in like, people are downloading and sending data to request, this website. And I know I can like host it very cheaply on AWS. So that's usually why I go with AWS, because I know with this type of website is a clean, easy setup that doesn't cost that much. I suppose with Heroku, I could do like a free tier, like to get cheap dynos. Um, but I just prefer like the this type of hosting, also because I already have an AWS account. I have all the other similar websites too.
True. And Heroku, like every time you hit it, it spins up the service. So if no one has touched it in a while, then it'll take a second for it to load when someone tries to load it for the first time, right?
Yeah, I have a one project is actually I think still using Heroku, and takes a while to warm up, so to speak. After you try to make requests to it, takes a while. It's noticeable. Whereas this, it's always up, always can hit it, loads very quickly.
Cool. So the source code is on GitHub, but the actual app lives for other people on AWS, and they just go to the website and they can get to it there. And then you are running another copy of that locally from the same source code, except that for what you're doing, it's only going to be seen on your computer. That's what the localhost 3000 is about.
Yeah, so when we're developing, we're going to develop locally. We don't want to have to deploy it anywhere to actually verify our changes. We want to develop very quickly. We want to make a change. Like if we want to change that purple to a blue, it just instantly takes effect, and we're not like deploying changes that everyone can see. We want to verify them, work on it locally.
Right. So that way, if you make a mistake, it only affects the code locally. It doesn't affect the actual production code.
Yeah, like if we broke something here and the nav bar disappeared, which it just disappears. We make a mistake locally, it's only affecting us. We can correct it easily. There's no worry that some random user is going to realize that the website's not working and they can't go anywhere because nav bar is missing.
Right, and that also gives you a lot more courage to try things and to even break things and have it not really have very much consequences besides, oh, that's what happens when you do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So we got this code by going to GitHub, cloning it. We use that green code button at the top there, right? And then you copy that. You paste it into a terminal, and then you use the magic incantation of git clone to go along with it.
Even tell you, GitHub is even like helpful enough to tell you maybe which ones to use, why.
Yes.
The magic incantations demystified.
Yeah. Well, that's very convenient. Very nice of it. There's no real magic here. It's all just a matter of going through and reading it, making sure you understand. if you don't understand, either Googling it or looking it up, or try breaking it, see what happens.
Breaking it's always a good way to see how things work. Remove that Jenga block, it crumbles, and you know that was important in that way.
Sarah, I just remembered. I want to try and play some music underneath of us right now. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to hear it, but the audience should be able to. So let me try this. Okay, I think we got some music underneath of us. Cool. So let's continue, shall we?
Yes. So, last time, I think I was on the show, we were focused more on fixing up some user interface issues with these buttons. It looked awkward on mobile. So kind of worked to make it flow a little bit nicer. Didn't have like wonkiness on like your iPhone. This time we're still going to be working with the user interface, but not something visually, but in testing it.
Huh.
So last time we also looked at the test I had written for the actual like calculations. Is verifying the logic for if you answer these questions, you'll get these results. So I have tests for that right now, but there are things we can also test with this code base that isn't being tested right now. So it's like testing logic with your application, and it's also testing within the front end how things are kind of structured, like how visually they are composed or how they are interactable. Like clicking on this button will cause it to be selected.
Yeah.
Will cause these changes to experience
Right.
or to be experienced on the screen.
And so the tests are making it so that you don't have to manually check every single one of those things every time you make a change. You can run the tests and they'll just verify that everything's the same.
Yeah, exactly. You can also test that, say that if something is an H1 tag, which is like the top level header for the page, like this is a
Right.
big
Just
font.
big letters, H1. Yeah.
Yeah. You want to test that's an H1. You don't want it to turn to an H2 because that may be not desirable problem. So you can also set up tests that verify like type of how you are constructing your HTML. So that's like a different. It's important test to have, but it's like a different mindset. You're not always per se testing the functionality of something. Maybe you're testing how it kind of looks.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Okay, so so you have different kinds of tests. Like you were mentioning, did you talk about unit tests?
I haven't talked about unit tests specifically, but we could talk about unit tests and also snapshot testing.
Okay, so I understand unit testing fairly well. Unit testing, you're just testing a tiny little bit of the code, and that you're just making sure that when you give that code X, it delivers Y. So that means that the bug does not live there. But when you're talking about snapshot testing, what is it that you're doing?
With snapshot testing, you can kind of think of like as taking a snapshot. If we're take this page, we're going to take a snapshot of everything that's being rendered on this page, save a copy of it, and when we run our test, it's going to like compare it against that old snapshot. So if we introduce a typo, it will show up as a discrepancy, and say your tests have failed because it no longer matches the snapshot. Then you have the opportunity to say, yes, that's actually I want it, or realize, oh crap, I introduced a typo here.
Huh. Okay, so if you're using snapshot testing then, could you write the test first, as in like have a designer give you the exact way that they want the page to look and have you run your tests against their snapshot?
Usually you create your snapshots off of the React component that you've already built.
Okay.
So I suppose you could, depending on how the designer is writing their mockups, you could, I guess, copy like, I think like some tools like have like the HTML output, or like CSS that the
Mm-hmm.
designer basically created. So there you might be able to copy and paste it in and get like a rough snapshot. But I imagine you might want to tweak it to make it, more accessible or more in line with conventions in the code base.
Okay. Cool. So you have some code that we're going to work on the snapshot testing. Is that what you had in mind?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the thing with, testing components, testing really the user interface, um, is before we were, with these other tests, we're using like Jest, which is the testing framework of choice. I think, Facebook puts it out, I believe.
Yeah,
Um,
Jest is very commonly used for testing frameworks of all types, or tests of all types.
Yeah. So to, better test React, we can test React components and actually like try to like fake render them in our tests using, tools that come from like the React DOM packages and test utilities themselves. But there's this library that's been put up called like testing library slash React.
That's a very
Um,
generic name.
it's very, appropriate. If the
True.
generic is helpful, it makes you feel like it's very official. It's just a nice wrapper around the utilities. It makes it life a little bit easier when you're working with components, rendering them, wanting to like interact with them, like click on things. As it says, it's a very lightweight solution. It's nothing too crazy, but just makes like a little bit easier.
Right. And it doesn't get into the details of how React does things. It doesn't really care. It's thinking of it in terms of how a user might look at the system. So it doesn't know anything about how React actually does things. Right?
Yeah, it's just providing like, so you don't have to like learn or, get into the nitty gritty of like the React, test utilities, like get into documentation there. You can use this as like a interface, to approach testing your React components.
Right. And that's an interesting word to use, interface. I hear interfaces being, the term interface being thrown around all over the place in code. What is an interface?
Ooh, it's a good question. So an interface, I think it's heavily used, heavily overloaded, and can mean a lot of different things.
Right.
Um, but an interface in this case is like it's putting up a consistent front. Like you're not having to worry about the implementation as much as how you're going to use it. Like I don't have to worry
Oh,
about how React DOM uses it. I just have to worry about understanding like the interface, the public interface that this testing library is providing me. So if something changes down the line or the implementation, I don't have to worry because I always know that render is going to be render or whatever. Um,
okay. So it's sort of like the interface is the the point of contact between the thing and you, where everything else is guts and internals, and you shouldn't be messing around in there. Everything you need to know should be available through that interface, and only the things you should know about. Everything else is like, no, don't touch that. That's private, right?
yeah, yeah. We want to concern ourselves with like we don't have to. We don't want to worry about the whatever is going on under the hood
Right.
of the car. We just want to know, how the steering wheel functions. We don't want to have to worry about like the actual mechanics.
Right. So the interface of the penguin that you have back there is a fuzzy, I don't know, is it some sort of fuzzy fur felt kind of thing? And that's the way in which you should touch the penguin. You should not need to reach into the penguin, into its stuffing, and touch there. The stuffing is there to give the penguin behavior, but you only touch it through the interface.
That's a pretty good analogy.
Okay, cool. So we have a testing framework that is going to only work with the interface of React. It's not going to try and reach into its guts.
Yeah, we're just going to use this to kind of reduce the need to really work too much around the React testing utilities. Um, yeah, it's basically just making our like a that we're having a nice fluffy penguin outside. It's making it a nice fur, a nice
Yeah.
felt.
We're just checking to make sure, like, is the felt where it should be? Is it penguin shaped? We don't care about what's going on the inside. Um, yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to worry about React changing or React down changing. We just want to use this.
Now, granted, like, if you change the internals of the penguin, let's say, to not be like stuffing, but instead it's like a wireframe, when you touch the interface, it's going to feel different, right? You can't squeeze it and hug it the same way that you could. It'll, once you squeeze it, the wireframe will warp and it'll stay kind of twisted and weird, right? So this is sort of like testing those sort of things too. So you do test those internals, but you test them through the interface. You don't try and reach in and figure out, like, is it made out of wire? Is it made out of steel? Yeah. Is it made out of, hopes and dreams of small children? It doesn't matter what it's made out of, so long as you can squeeze it, it feels good, you let it go, it returns to its original shape.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be, it's like other sorts of interfaces beyond like testing utilities such as this, such as like working with like an API, like, I don't know, like Twitter or Twitch.
Now, I know Twitter and Twitch as websites. What's an API?
So a lot of, big websites, Twitter and so on, offer you, like us, programmatically the ability to like access their systems. So you can maybe write a bot that tweets, that CodingKoans is going to be live.
Right. Okay. So yeah, or a Twitch bot that is in the chat that, if, X happens, then it does Y. Right.
Yeah, and we can do that because their interface is public for us to access. They publish documentation, and they have an interface to the innards of their system. We don't know how they've architected their applications,
right.
But we can interact with them through that interface of the API.
And the API is built by people, and those people have decided what parts of their system they want other people to have access to. For example, probably they didn't write in their API, give me the passwords and credit card numbers of everybody in our system. Right?
Yeah.
But
a window into the world.
But they will expose some things that they think, like, this will be fun for other people. This will help out our platform. This will encourage people to use our platform. But not, hopefully they've thought through well enough that it's not something that someone can use for evil or, just in a way that the developers didn't really want them to. Maybe it's an evil website. Maybe they don't want people to use it for good, and they designed their API so that it can't be. But it's built with intention and by people. Right?
Yeah, and it's also maintained too. So these APIs may have been around for a while. They've gone through different versions.
Right. Yeah.
So the interface is maybe how you interact. Maybe sometimes it has to change if the insides have changed a lot. Or what happens when you do interact with it in a certain way changes because they've had downstream changes on their end.
Or they had someone find a security exploit. A hacker has hacked into their system using the API in a way they didn't expect, and now they've redesigned their system so that no one can do that anymore. And so the hacker will then need to find some other way of exploiting the system. So what does API even mean? We're using a lot of letters here.
Oh geez, API.
We say it so often that we don't even know what it means anymore, do we?
I'm gonna give a guess, and I'm probably gonna be wrong. I think it's like application public interface or something.
Application public interface, or um, uh, all programmingers interface, or um, uh, androgynous person's institution. I don't know. Just making up API now, whatever it could be. Why don't we Google it? Let's see what it actually is.
Let's find out. I'm gonna use DuckDuckGo.
Ah,
What is it? Application programming interface.
application programming interface. So it's for
Well, true.
okay. It's an interface for application programming. That is your application. The application you're programming, you want an interface to it. So it's a computing interface which interactions between multiple software intermediaries. Man, if I had read this and not understood what those words were, that would mean nothing to me.
Yeah, this is quite a mouthful to read or
Yeah.
to say.
Well, it's peer reviewed by a bunch of people who needed to say something very specific, and they won't allow it to be. They won't allow the analogy of using a penguin. Information
Wow.
hiding.
That kind of relates to what we were talking about.
Oh yeah, it is, because you're hiding the things that you don't want people to touch. So actually, in that sense, clothing is an interface for humans, right? And Twitch is an interface for people in a pandemic, because we can communicate to each other, we can share, but we don't have to be in the same room where we could potentially infect each other's internals.
I was gonna make a bad joke with like our flesh isn't like an interface for our skeleton.
That's true. Yeah, as you can see, Bones over there, the API for Bones is completely exposed, which is very freeing. You can touch any part of Bones, except that, maybe that's too many options for you. Maybe you start jumbling up Bones to the point where you can't figure out what he even is anymore. Yeah. So it's sort of like a skin for your program, or just
Yeah,
like a series of questions that it will allow you to answer.
Yeah,
Hey,
go back here. I'm not exposing the calculator function, externally.
right.
Type in all of these weird values. The interface is the user interface,
Yes.
which has been very crudely designed by yours truly.
Yes. So, yeah, that means that the person who uses this thing doesn't have to know how to program in order to use it. They just need to know how to be a human, and hopefully you've designed your system well enough so that a human being can operate it without too much trouble.
Hopefully.
Yes. Cool. We've talked some theory for a bit now. Let's get into the code.
Oh yes, to the code. So I'll bring up the testing library again.
Right.
So the important thing about using packages is, or the important first step is you actually have to install them.
Mm-hmm.
And I have not installed it.
Okay. Yeah. So we got to use the magic incantation of npm install. npm being the node package manager, which is going to go grab programs from the internet and download them onto your computer, the ones that you say so, and then all the ones that those programs need as well.
You said node package manager, but it says here now it's nutritious polygonal meatball.
That's because npm no longer means node package manager. Now it's just a random set of words. In fact, if we refresh this, I think you'll see something else.
Oh, I keep hitting the same one. It's hilarious. But if I click
Nodding previously managed. Let's see some other ones. npm, pretty
NPM
much.
pretty much.
Oh,
Recursion.
that's a recursive one. Yeah, it'll just keep going down. So npm pretty much. Well, what's npm stand for? Npm pretty much, pretty much, pretty much, pretty much. Newton's programmatic measurements. I love it. Noob own M3.
Pwn me. Oh, I'm not Uber lead or whatever.
No, neurotic and probably misinformed.
Oh God, that's. I like want to like frame that one like yes.
Oh man, it's great. So it's npm.
Yeah, npm.
Yeah.
It's how we install our node packages, which there are many of them. So we're installing the package. This bit, the testing library / React is the test or the package name.
Yeah.
This save dev with all these hyphens. That just means saying this is a developer dependency. It's not something you're going to need to actually run the app such that you can interact with it. It's just something we need for development, as in testing, making sure the code's nice and pretty.
Right. So when you deploy it to production, you're not going to deploy the tests along with the code to production.
No, yeah, we're not deploying the specs or things related to cleaning up the code base like linters.
So all this is a form of complex scaffolding that we're using in order to make sure that it's in the shape that we expect it to be, so that when we deploy it without that scaffolding, it stands up the way that we expect it to.
Yeah, with single page apps, or React apps, there's always a kind of debate a little bit on what is a dev dependency versus what is a real dependency.
Yeah.
With TypeScript too, are your type definitions a developer dependency or a real dependency? Right here, I have them in dev dependency, but there's an argument that if I want to build the app, I do need these, so they should be under dependencies. That's a hot topic or a hot take or whatever.
Well, I mean, yeah. Ultimately, when it comes down to is none of these things are set in stone. We're trying to figure them out, and we use words and terminologies and concepts like interfaces to help wrap our heads around how complex this is. Otherwise, what we're doing is we're taking a magnetized needle and just very carefully touching a hard drive and trying to write a program that does what we expect it to do. Doing that it's not impossible. It's very, very unlikely to work. This makes it much easier to make sure that we're doing it the right way. And so we wrap concepts up into little packages, and we say, this is this part of the program, that's that part. And so that way we can more easily reason with it and change things and adapt things.
Yeah, just to make it also easier to not only to build, but also to understand if you're trying to maintain it coming in after a while. What do these words mean? If they're something common, like a common language of how you build applications, then you'll have an easier time getting in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so let's go a little further in, shall we? So
yeah.
we've installed we ran the magic incantation of npm install, and now we have our testing framework installed, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the page that we're going to test as the dummy page is our not found page.
Okay, great.
So if we hit something that doesn't actually set up or exist, it's going to go to 404, not found.
Okay.
So then the next step is actually using, so I'm looking at, pulling this from their example on the React testing library page, using good friend copy and paste.
Yep.
So we're importing from the React testing library.
And we're importing three things in particular: render, fire event, and screen.
I think we'll only need one render, actually. So right here already we have describe it, and it does something. Not very descriptive test, and it's not actually testing anything yet. So we're going to need to use this render method.
Awesome.
Um,
Oh, hey,
uh,
Arlo Sanders is in the chat. Arlo is part of Made Up Music, which, by the way, the sounds that you are not hearing right now, Sarah, are Made Up Music. And I've got them on in the background. Made Up Music comes on right after our show. And they are great to program to because they're doing something creative in a similar sort of way, and it makes you feel like you're part of a community. So check out theirs. You can also subscribe to our channel as well. If you're a developer, subscribing to our channel is less than a cup of coffee, especially the kind of coffee that we drink. Yeah, you get a month, you get free VODs on all of this, and you help support teaching more people how to code, among the many other things that we're doing on this channel. Consider subscribing. Sorry, Sarah. The advertisement is over.
Back to our regular scheduled programming.
Yeah.
So let's go. So we have our test running. In the other tab, let me rearrange things so we can see both at the same time. So what this line 6 is trying to do is just render the not found page, which is, here. All it is just rendering. We talked about H1 earlier, just rendering H1 404 not found.
Okay.
So right now, the test, we're just trying to render it. We're not doing anything with this web as container as thing.
Sorry about that. Someone's decided to do some construction work outside my window. So wait, I noticed one thing in there. That 404 not found was the only thing there. But when we look at the page, we're seeing more than just 404 not found. There's like a red bar and a blue bar and some other stuff going on, right?
Oh, here?
Yeah, because here we just have H1 404 not found. But if we look on the page, there's a blue bar, there's a navigation bar, there's built by Sarah Sunday, there's code on GitHub.
Yeah, so that's that comes from our layout.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so how it's structured is like all of our pages are wrapped around by like the core website layout. And the core website layout has like our navigation, this nice footer line, like the top head area. So you don't have to copy and paste that with each page. Each page is content, and this will render inside here.
Yeah, and if we were to do that, if we were to copy and paste that over and over and over again, if, let's say, sometime later someone says like, make that blue part green, you'd need to go through and make sure you did it for every single page. Instead, have it in one place and just have everything else just reference it. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, this makes it easier to maintain also. If we're going to write tests, we can just test, the one thing. We don't have to test this logic everywhere.
Right. We don't have to retest and retest and retest. And if something breaks, we would get like 1,000 test failures when it was just one thing. That's nice. Cool.
Yeah.
So that helps point, like, the reason why we want tests where each test is only testing one thing is so that when something fails, it points directly to the piece of code that's broken. It says, this didn't work. This only. Not a whole bunch of other stuff. And it gives you focus. It allows you to go, oh, go here, fix this, done. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's hopefully what we're going to do with this 404 page. We're just testing it as itself.
Okay.
We're going to try to have it match a snapshot. Now, in our tests, we have an issue. Just encountered an unexpected token. So there's some issues with how our tests are set up that doesn't like us trying to make snapshots, which is not fun.
So what does that mean? What do you mean unexpected token? And where is that? Where are you seeing that phrase on the screen? Oh, there it is. Syntax error. Unexpected token. That looks like a greater than sign?
Yeah, so that's the bracket. So when we render it here, we have brackets around our tags, our HTML tags, our components. So when I'm trying to render them here in the test, it's not understanding what to do with that.
Oh, okay. So it's that first bracket after render, that angle
Yeah.
brace.
Yeah. Um, so it's just having some confusion over what to do with that. So this is where we come in with our best of intentions. Like we're going to test the components and introduce this new testing concept into our application.
Yeah.
But then you realize that, okay, we actually need to do more setup with our testing suite to allow for this.
Okay.
It's usually not simple. So in this case, we can see if there's something we could do here in the Jest docs to help us here. This is where you get to the point where like reading through the documentation of Jest. So let's go back to our Jest config. Jest thankfully provides some guidance over what's happening. Jest encountered unexpected token. This usually means that you're trying to import a file which Jest cannot parse. It's not plain JavaScript. And what our test file wasn't plain JavaScript. It was TypeScript with JSX, what is the correct term. We got JavaScript, and we got like this, basically like an HTML-ish thing. It's trying to like create HTML, and there's JavaScript. This is crazy.
Yeah, it doesn't know what that is.
No, it does not. Maybe like we can try like going back to the 4.4 tree. Maybe we need to import React is like one thing you may think of.
Okay, yeah, that sounds like something we should probably do, but that didn't change, right?
No, because
still failing.
The thing is like Jest doesn't understand how to deal with it.
Okay.
So we have to maybe tell Jest like how to deal with it. So if we look at the Jest docs here, there's this one section that might appeal to us, like just like scanning through it, is the module file extensions. Maybe we need to add TS and TSX. Is an option. Maybe we have to do that. Let's see if that does anything. Let's just rerun it. So I was in the test watcher. So it's like continually running, continually, trying to run the tests.
Okay, so it's a special program that's checking to see if there's any changes in our files that we're looking at, and if it finds a change, it runs the tests again automatically without you having to hit any buttons.
Yeah. So now I exited out of it. I have to manually say, run the test.
Still failing. Is that a different failure? Yeah. No, it's the same one.
Yeah. So we have a module. Yes, we have our module file extensions, are including the TSX now. Our text regex does include TSX.
Okay.
We are using Jest.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something going on here that like what options do we need to add to get this to work? Maybe we should like look for TSX. So that we get to the point of like, is it a Jest issue? Like maybe Jest is set up right. We just need to configure something elsewhere. Because maybe I'm using TS Jest, which is another package.
Okay.
Let us go to the npm. This is where we like the moral is a lot of software development is sometimes stitching together packages. So they all talk nicely to each other. All of their interfaces are in a beautiful like symphony.
Oh, wait, beautiful symphony of interfaces. I think I have an analogy that I can share. Hold on. Let me see if I can reach it. Come on. There we go. So I got wires attached to me, so I can only go so far. This is a Lego yellow submarine. All the parts, it's made up of all these little parts, right? But all of them, it doesn't matter what is in them. If I can put this thing back together. What matters is that the interfaces all interlock, regardless of what the shape of the piece actually is. So the internals, in this case, are the shape of the piece itself, such as this part right here, right? This part does not care what's on top of it. And this part doesn't care what's underneath of it, doesn't care. But when you put them together, they link together and create something new. And you can create all kinds of shapes using only this standard interface, so long as you have them all having the same interface. If they didn't, if I tried to combine this with, I don't know, some like an erector set or something like that, it'd be much harder to do. I'd have to create some sort of adapter that adapts between a Lego block and an erector set piece. Having interfaces where everything links very nicely together is what allows you to build, Lego yellow submarines.
And to extend this analogy out further, you probably built that with multiple Lego packages came in the box to have you build it.
I built this out of a kit. Everything came in one box, but
Plastic baggies? One?
That's true. The box did have several different plastic baggies in it. And so, if I want to, but certain parts of this are very clearly separate ideas. This is separate from this. And Jeremy down here, if you remember this guy, is also a separate piece. This is a separate idea, but to the interfaces, they don't know any different. Like the interface does not care about the concept of meaning. That's supplied by us. And that's me deciding, no, this is separate from that. And even though this is made up of like 3 pieces, and this is made up of like 50 or 100 or 150 or something like that, this is one conceptual idea. This is a separate one. And that is for the human brain to decide, to put its fingerprints on the code, which in this case is a bunch of Legos. I'll put it back together the right way. It goes back. Puck90 says, some dude made a tiny house out of a yellow submarine. That is amazing. If he used Lego blocks to do it, then he would have been using the same interface to adapt the yellow submarine to the purpose of a house. And then combining it with other things so that these things can work together, like a team. Yeah. By the way, Puck90 has a show on Outpost 13. It's called, hold on a second, Allison's Sci-Fi Library Super Fun Time. And she will read a science fiction book. And right now she's going through A Wrinkle in Time. And it is delightful. And you should definitely watch her show on Tuesdays. Let me put this back carefully. Yeah. There. Okay. So, now that we said all that, back to the coding. We're still failing this test.
Yeah. But it's all about like connecting things together, or like finding the right glue. Because we have all these different, parts and pieces. Like we're missing like something connecting it all together. We have Jest, we have our TypeScript, we have our testing library, we have our components. They're not talking together the right way. We're missing a piece, a critical piece in this puzzle. And we have to kind of figure out what we're missing. We can look through more Jest or like Jest documentation. I'm also, I'm going down right now down the road of like TS Jest. I've seen if there's any presets that need to be tweaked for this to work. So TS-Jest is basically, kind of supposed to be the glue between TypeScript and Jest. So in fact that some of the TSX is failing makes me wonder, is there a problem with my configuration of the TS-Jest? We've been working fine with just our JavaScript tests, or just the TypeScript tests. But now when we're trying to like render something, a component, now it's kind of breaking down.
Is this our first one of these types of tests?
Yes, that's why it's like first attempt.
Because if it was the second one, I would just look at the first one and see like, what did I miss?
Yeah. That's the thing, is like when you're starting anything new, you're gonna uncover like, oh, I actually need to configure these little things. Very rarely do things work out of the box. And you have to like read the documentation, and you do actually maybe start to understand the internals beyond the interface.
Right, because you need to in order to, yeah, in order to do things more. Yeah. Oh well. That's fine. That's just more knowledge for us.
Yeah. Though, staring at this line, I wonder if we've hit the yes, this is it moment. Presets use test match like Jest does in the default. If you want to use test regex instead, you must set test match dash or Jest will fail. I am using test. We are using test regex.
Okay.
Does this help us? Is that the magical answer? Oh, nope.
Still doing the same thing. We can't just pass it null. Wait, okay. So that didn't work. That should. I was hoping that would, but.
I was hoping too. Sometimes it's like.
Does let me see that code again, though. Is there something going on with the angle braces and like defining it the right way?
Oh, you mean like, should we not use, like we should do it like this? Like just call it what it is?
Maybe.
Well, let's see what happens.
Nope.
Oh.
But that's different. Different error.
We're getting a different error. Is we're calling like the component's name. We're not like trying to actually, or passing it like
do we need
argument type. We're talking about the function of the component render. We're not actually like
rendering the component.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that was worth a shot.
Yeah, and some of this is like shooting. I'm trying to figure out what tactic to try to kind of get it work. Mm-hmm. Like what is actually the issue here. So we've tried looking at the TS-Jest documentation. May have overlooked something, may have not.
True.
Is there anything like advanced here? We tried is like transform. We did any transforms.
It feels like this. I feel like whatever it is that we're doing, it's something really simple.
It could be. TypeScript will handle by TS-Jest, and JavaScript will handle by Babel.
We know for a fact the thing actually works because we've seen it work. So, is it maybe that we're configuring it somehow, some other way wrong? No. It is used that way in the code. Like when we call it, we're actually putting it in those angle braces just the same way, right?
Yeah. It's kind of trying to figure out how do we get our tests to work the same way it actually, when we actually run the code.
Right.
Like I'm running it right now. If I restart it, just prove that it actually does work. Let us get back here. Still launching a little bit, but yep. Oh, here it is. So it works. So it's not an issue with our application not working. It's an issue with getting our tests working.
Yeah, the test is not configured the right way.
Not following the same rules. Yeah, so we'd also look at further looking at configuring Jest.
Can we get it to render anything at all? I mean, I know not found is a very simple one, but can we get it to render nothing?
Like maybe just render this empty div.
Yeah, sure. Does that still work? Because if that doesn't, then it's not, it doesn't matter that it's the component. Yeah. So same issue, now with the empty div. So that means something about our test is not configured right.
It could be the test, or it could be like our test framework jest.
Yeah.
So if you have some of your node files, use as a custom transform, ignore patterns, transform option. So maybe, I think TS Jest, I think, had something about our transform. Maybe we need to JS with TSJ preset. Maybe we need to explicitly set our transforms so it can like, taking from the docs. So this is like, okay, they're expressing going back to the interfaces of how to use the package. Oh, nope, that didn't work either.
Okay, let's try, we're going to have to time box this because it is now almost past time. So let's give ourselves 5 minutes to try and figure it out. If we can't, hopefully we discover something about what it's not, and that will be progress in some small measure.
Yeah, so what do you think is where should we look? What should we try?
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, we compared, copy and paste the example code.
Ooh, for TS Jest?
Yeah.
Okay, let's
yeah.
Just 100% just copy and paste it.
Copy and paste it, and then we'll go through from there bit by bit, and also copy and paste the known good example that they have online. So in the actual like test that they have.
Okay, so you have our Jest config is exactly as is. They have an example test here.
Okay, let's get the example test and use that.
They have one? Test helpers?
Someone has an example test. I bet if you Googled it, you'd find one.
Let's do TS Jest. Actually, speaking of Google, why don't we Google the error?
Good point. Google the error.
Unexpected token. Just encountered an unexpected token. This looks like our error.
Yeah, it looks exactly like it.
Let's get these.
Let's maybe revert what we had sort of half done there, where let's play it back the way it was. Okay.
What do we have here?
Switch to Babel Jest.
Oh, he has a custom transform line, this guy.
Okay.
With as many happiness emojis and thumbs down emojis.
Yep, that means that this is a controversial answer.
Oh, it's able to fix the error by changing the JSX property of the TS config. JSX preserve to JSX React. Is that it? Is that really it?
Let's get rid of that transform then. Yeah, let's try it now.
That's it. That's gonna be like very sad.
Wait,
taking longer.
Wait. It failed.
Oh,
But it's
okay.
Wait, no, same fail. Wait,
well, let's.
No, that's a different failure.
Yes, let's do this again with
Wait.
like all together now. Oh, cannot read property create element of undefined.
Oh,
Hey, it's progress.
that's that. Yeah, okay, that's a new failure. That's great.
Quick, let's look this up.
Okay, we gotta. I know that we're over time, but we gotta figure this out.
so close. Import React from React. ESL module interrupt. Oh, it's all ES module interrupt. This all of this is TypeScript related. I'm betting.
This is one of the reasons why, like, just to complain a bit, I don't like. It worked.
Oh, it worked.
It worked. Okay.
Okay, so our test has said snapshot written. So if you look at snapshots, so here's our spec.
Okay.
And now in the directory, there is now a folder called snapshots, which has HTML that was output by this component.
Okay.
Now, if I say this was found, run it again, I've changed the text. This is gonna fail because now if we test what is rendering now out of this component with our snapshot that we liked, it's not working or it's not matching. So it's gonna throw us a failure, an error, saying that, hey, these snapshots don't match. You can choose to update them. So if if I'm going back, test watch is a little bit, okay, with some interface to do the updates for it. So if I press U on my keyboard, it will update the snapshot. So this was found. Now, of course, we don't want that because not found was accurate. But if we did, change something, we can update our snapshots.
Yes. Oh, well, we did it. We did not know how that was going to end. I was fully prepared for us to just not resolve that.
And I'm just like, oh, it's all TS config related. It's not even Jest. Nothing new with this nonsense.
Ah. Oh man, configurations. But using
work.
All right. So what did we learn today about dealing with the error?
Yeah. We learned that like sometimes with an error, there's a lot of different avenues you can take to approach it. Especially if in our case, there's a lot of different package interop going on. So we started looking at Jest, then we looked at TS Jest, and then it turned out to be TypeScript itself. Settings. So you learn that errors can be helpful. They can have multiple like opportunities or branching paths of what research to look at.
Okay. Yeah. Googling for things is one thing you can do. Just Google the error message. That gets you pretty far. Another thing you can do is make it even dumber. That is, like, we made sure that, like, which part of this is it? Is the source code or is it the actual tests? Let's just change it from something that we know works. Okay, it isn't even the code because we're not even using that right now. It's still doing the same thing. Then if it's not one of those things, we can try finding a working example someplace, copying and pasting that in, and then modifying it, continually checking to make sure it still works. So yeah, any of those could be options. And worst comes to worst, take a walk, go for 10 minutes, stop thinking about it. Maybe, explain it to somebody else. When you explain the problem to somebody else, a lot of times you just discover what the answer is, or you figure out something else you can try, at least. So yeah, all those things are possible. Cool. Well, Sarah, thank you. We're going to have a special show. And I realize my error by not inviting you on it because it's going to happen on Sunday. So it would be great to have Sarah Sunday on Sunday. But instead, I'm going to have someone that's equally delightful. Arlo Sanders is going to be on the show. He's going to be, we're going to be working on, he does Made Up Music, which is the show that comes on directly after us. And Made Up Music, they make up a song right there on the spot, all together. We're going to kind of do that on my show as well. Instead, we're going to use Ruby to do it, the Ruby programming language. And we're going to use an IDE, an integrated development environment called Sonic Pi. And so that'll be really fun. I'm really excited about that. It'll be on Sunday at 12:30 Pacific time. So hope to see you there. Besides that, I do have a few other people to thank. My production liaison is Matt Pittner. Designer is Aaron Harvey. He has a show on our channel as well called Infinite Trek. It's on Saturdays. My marketer is Lucas Vanosic. He is the host of a game show called Two Liars that's on tomorrow at 7 p.m., which I was on it the other night, and it was a lot of fun. I love that show. Botmaster is Cody Bushy, and he has a show called An Actor Unprepared that will be back on September 14th. Music is by Arlo Sanders and Alex Kahn of Made Up Music. And they're on next at 7 p.m. tonight, 7 p.m. Pacific. We have videos on demand at FTL Talks. So if you Google FTL Talks or if you go to YouTube, it'll be at FTL Talks. It's faster than a lightning talk. But if you want to see those earlier, subscribe to the channel. And you get a whole lot of other content, a whole community of people who want to support and nourish people's ability to do the arts, people's ability to code, people's ability to influence the world around them. So support our channel, Outpost 13. Until next week, I'll see you. Sarah, you want to say goodbye?
See ya. Thanks for joining in.
Yep. Okay. Bye.
The only steps I can, steps too high. I'm just a man. If you see my face at your hour of death, don't shake. Don't shake in your boots, no, don't you fret. Cause I'm gonna take you down where the beats are pumping. Down to hell where the lava's jumping. In the mountain, lava's jumping. Down to hell where the lava's jumping.
Let yourself fall, cause you'll only get higher. Let yourself drop like a v1.5. Living half dead, so you might as well drop. The f***ers can't find you, the beat don't stop. The beat don't stop. It'll never stop.
I walk this life. The only steps I can, steps too high. I'm just a man. I walk this life. The only steps I can, steps too high. I'm just a man. When you start saying, a mountain is a mountain, a river is a river. But learning Zen, a mountain is not a mountain. A river is not a river. After learning Zen, a mountain is a mountain.